All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Mark of Balance. My name is Mark, and today we're going to be doing a review for episode 4 of Obi Wan Kenobi. This episode, we got Obi Wan infiltrating Fortress Inquisitorius, or whatever it's called, basically from Fallen Order, and this episode just follows the plot of what the last mission of Fallen Order is. He comes in through the porthole, and to get away, he uses broken glass to bring in a rushing water to take out the enemies, basically what Cal does as well. So it was cool to see that kind of parallelism between different mediums, especially a video game and live action. So I very much appreciated that portion of it. My main takeaway from this episode, while once again it's a strong entry, I liked it, I have yet to be blown away by anything in this show yet. There have been great moments. I've enjoyed it, like I said. But I don't think at this point, episode 4, with only 2 episodes left, I should be saying that. I feel like there's been a lot of opportunities to blow me away, but it just hasn't committed to it. And this episode worried me just a little because over the next 2 episodes, we need to figure out what happened to the Grand Inquisitor. We need to get some backstory on Reva and find out why she knows so much about Anakin as Darth Vader, why she is so obsessed with Obi-Wan. Does she really care about the Empire? We have to see some Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan training because obviously he still hasn't connected to Qui-Gon, and I hope it's not just a switch that flips and Qui-Gon just like comes in when Kenobi finally forgives himself for the past. And there's probably some other things I'm missing, some story threads that I've been talking about with some friends after we saw this. We're like, how are they going to wrap this up in 2 episodes, to be honest? And I think the episode kind of falls into this formulaic plot where Leia gets captured again, and now that they've have this tracker on Leia, like, are they going to once again capture her? Like, I don't want this to just be rescue Leia, rescue Leia, rescue Leia. I know it's like calling back to the origin of A New Hope, rescuing Leia from the Death Star, but I hope the show doesn't turn into that. Like, at this point, Reva is tracking Lola, who is on Leia's body, so we know that once again they're going to go to where Leia is. I just hope it doesn't become this thing where Leia gets captured again, Obi-Wan has to train a little more and then become this full-on Jedi. So I'm a little nervous for these next 2 episodes. But like I said, I mean, I have been enjoying it. This has been a fun ride, but I think expectations play a role in this. I think 17 years in the making, a lot of time to think about this plot, and really we haven't, I think, scratched the surface of the potential that this show has. But, once again, there's 2 more episodes left, so we have to see where it goes. The thing that kind of annoyed me at the beginning of this episode was in my previous review, I kind of said, like, why did Vader let him get away with that firewall? Because I was like, oh, maybe this episode will get some context on why Vader did that. But we don't. And Obi-Wan did get away, and Vader just walked away. Like, that wall of flames wasn't like a mile long. Like, I'm pretty sure he could have went around it, had some troops go around it, maybe lock down the spaceport so they don't get off the planet. Also, once again, I've seen Vader walk through flames, so I'm pretty sure he could have just been like, okay, excuse me, flames, I have a beef with this guy right here. I need to get him, so I'm just gonna, excuse me, I'm just coming right there. So I was a little upset that they didn't really talk about that in this episode. The back to tank, I was ready for the flashbacks. I really liked the scene where they went back and forth. They kind of felt each other's presence after their first time seeing each other. Vader was kind of going crazy, and Obi-Wan was kind of reliving the trauma. So I like that, but of course everyone, all of our Clone Wars fans, we expected the flashbacks to happen like they did in Book of Boba Fett when he would go in the back to tank. We would then see flashbacks from him, so I think a lot of people were expecting that, and the scene kind of ends very quickly, but I did very much enjoy the back and forth going on there. The Reva and Leia scenes in this episode really were awesome. I thought, obviously the little Leia actor has been killing it, and I absolutely love some of her lines in here where, Reva's like, just tell us and you can go home. And she's like, okay, I'll help you since we're all on the same team. Can I just tell my dad first? And Reva's like, oh, okay, we got you. And then the other scene, of course, where Reva tries to look into her mind, and Leia's like, is this a staring contest? Because Leia's like, you don't realize this, but I am a Skywalker. So I am extremely gifted with the Force, but I mainly think she was able to resist because she has such a strong will. And she obviously has this untapped Force potential that helps, which is why I don't think Reva sensed that she was Force sensitive, but that was really cool, and I really enjoyed their scenes. And Reva was about to torture a 10-year-old. That's pretty crazy. We need to hear about Reva's trauma because she's really going for gold here with being an asshole. So I really hope there's a great backstory in these next 2 episodes. I did enjoy that early on in the episode they planted the seed that Reva was taking Lola from Leia, and then obviously she becomes the tracker. So that was cool that kind of came full circle at the end. I do want to know why none of these villain characters are checking Leia's pockets when they take her into custody. She's just been rolling around with Lola that has been able to cut her free when the bounty hunters took her, and now the Imperials are like, oh, she has, a droid that has a bunch of gadgets on it, and they're just like, nah, she can keep it. No worries. It's not like she'll call anyone on it. I'm just very confused. Like, if you're able to torture a 10-year-old, I don't think like a pat down is too outside of the realm of possibility for you. I think you've gone far enough with the baby handcuffs and then the torture chamber for children. But pat downs, that's where the TSA has an up on the Imperials. So I do want to get to Obi-Wan's fighting style in this. I very much like that he was rusty. I very much like that he was more of a defensive combat style in this episode. He was always deflecting bolts. He wasn't rushing at the enemy. He was protecting Leia. So I very much enjoyed that. You could tell the lightsaber still is not as comfortable in his hands as he liked. And I do like that he started to use the Force a bit more. And then, by the end, he's holding back water. And, of course, as we know, the Jedi are most powerful when they're protecting others. So when the water was threatening to rush in, that was the perfect moment for Obi-Wan to really tap into that powerful side of the Force again and hold back this water and then basically use it to drown all the troops in the room behind him. So that was pretty cool. And I did like seeing the early... They looked like Death Troopers, but they weren't. I very much enjoyed the design there with the red shoulder pads and the helmet kind of getting to Death Trooper level. So that was cool as well. The Jurassic Park Ember Room, where they basically just like solidified all these Jedi that they killed, was really messed up. We saw the one Jedi, I forget his name, but he was in Clone Wars. I think that was him during the lightsaber lost arc with Ahsoka. That was, sad to see him. I think he had his cane lightsaber thing in there, so that was tough. And then they kept a kid. Like, they kept a kid in his training gear, and then they, like, solidified him and kept him as a prize. Like, I don't know. That was really freaky that they kept these trophies. Like, keeping the lightsabers, keeping the helmets. Like, yeah, Grievous level kind of fanaticism. But this was weird. Very creepy. I saw on Twitter someone did a parallel of that Force Unleashed 2 trailer where Starkiller was in the dark room with the stormtroopers, and the only thing that lit him up was his lightsabers, and we saw that used here, another video game reference, which is awesome to see. We saw that here with Obi-Wan in the torture chamber. The lights go out, and he ignites the lightsaber, and that's the only light you see. And they were like, "Where'd he go? Where'd he go?" So very cool. Another complaint I had was that the Inquisitors are just about they are so useless in the show. I mean, the 9th brother, 7th brother, I forget his name, all he's done is really just like complain the whole time. I haven't seen him ignite his lightsaber once. He's just like a non-factor kind of. And then the other sister, she's just been following everyone. And by the end of this, I very much thought it would be cool to see Darth Vader kill Reva, because at this point, like, what does Darth Vader need Reva for unless she knows something about him? But if she knows something about him, then he should kill her anyway. But like, she said, "Oh no, I have a tracker," and Darth Vader should have just been like, "Okay, great, give me the tracker, stab or choke to death, see you later, thank you so much." Like, at the end of Fallen Order, Trilla let Cal Kestis and Seer get into Inquisitorius, and he jumps down and kills Trilla right there. Like, it doesn't matter how good she was fighting, he just went and killed her. So I don't see why Vader needs Reva at this point. Like, he can't just be like, "Reva, hey, give me the tracker. You've done enough. You've literally screwed us over and led them right into the Inquisitor base and let them get away now, like, for the 3rd time. Like, what the hell?" So I think Vader is a little uncharacteristic throughout this show. I mean, definitely in some aspects they're nailing it. In other aspects, I think it's like, what's going on here? It's also very unfortunate that we're not getting a lot of Hayden in the show. I mean, we've only seen that one full Jedi robe thing, and that was a mirage. And of course, we just see him with the mask in the Bacta tank, but we haven't seen any piece of Hayden, and it feels more and more like they used Hayden more as a promotional tool and saying he's back as Anakin Skywalker, when in reality he's probably only been in like 1 or 2 scenes, and we know that the stunt doubles are probably doing more of the fights with Vader himself. I know most of the stuff is probably Hayden, but it is unfortunate we're not like seeing him as Anakin. I feel like he has so much more to give. My favorite part of the episode was the last shot. It was so perfect. I loved the dualism where on one side the girl that went to save them in the snow speeders. Well, I guess there weren't snow speeders before Hoth. Where you had the one girl on the one side who just lost her best friend to come and save them. And on the other side, you have this beautiful moment with Obi-Wan and Leia where they finally hold hands and kind of fully embrace each other. And you have this thing on the left where, they're reunited, but on the right, you're kind of reminded of the sacrifice to save others and kind of that duality of the rebellion. Like, you're fighting for the right thing, but you're going to lose a lot because of it. So I love that last shot where you had the beauty and the darkness all together in one scene. That was really awesome. And the score, when Leia finally grabs his hand and he looks at her, I was like, ooh, what is this? I need to find the name of that song. That's going to be on Music Mondays. I can't wait. I do, however, have to talk about the most controversial part of this episode, and that was the Leia trench coat getaway disguise. Surprisingly, for how critical I've been of the choreography and some of the other like silly pieces of the show, I actually thought this one kind of worked. I mean, like, she was really in there. Tarla was on the right side, so she was covering like her footsteps kind of, so she was kind of blocked there. And if I was an Imperial officer who just got orders from Darth Vader, if I was like a stormtrooper that just missed all my shots at the firing range or was on a terrible mission or something, I don't know if I'd be looking at people's feet. But I totally understand people that are upset with that disguise choice. But somehow for me, I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, you know what? I can believe that. I can work with that. That's fine. I think the thing that should have gave them away was the fact that Obi-Wan had a beard. And I don't know if this is true. This is probably talked about in some Star Wars Wikipedia, but I don't think Imperials are allowed to have facial hair. So, to be honest, I think the thing that should have set off everyone was not the 4 feet coming out of the trench coat. It should have been the fact that this man has a beautiful mustache beard combo. That should have been like, hey, you can't be an Imperial officer with that much facial hair. You're coming with me. And then, they open the trench coat. And then they see Leia, and they're like, oh my, now we really know why you do that. But, yeah, I think that should have been the giveaway. I think it would have been actually really cool if they were walking out, and that was what gave them away. Like, they were about to get on the ship, and one of the officers is like, hey, why do you have facial hair? That's against Imperial code. And then he starts, like, stuttering, and that's when Reva comes out. Like, that bought him time. That would have been awesome to see. But once again, I'm spitballing here. I don't even know if that's true, but I don't think I've ever seen an Imperial officer with facial hair. Well, Moff Gideon has the mustache, but that seems kind of tame. That's like the Yankees. Like, you can't have too much facial hair if you're on the Yankees. You can only have a mustache. So maybe the Imperials are the Yankees. I mean, they do call the Yankees the evil empire of the MLB. So this, maybe it's all parallels. Who knows? George Lucas was inspired by the Yankees when he made the Imperial officers regardless. But yeah, it actually kind of worked for me. I don't know why. But yeah, those are most of my thoughts about the episode. I kind of talked this through with Brandon and Cole, and a little bit with Troy. I kind of just bounced some ideas on what we thought about the show, and I definitely think there is a consensus that we felt by episode 4 we'd be getting a lot more out of the show, and there's been a lot of not inconsistencies, but there's been a lot of opportunities where the show could have been much better, and I think we're very much settling and saying, this is good, but I think it could be so much better. And with 2 more episodes, it could be amazing and it could wrap everything up in a beautiful bow. I'm very much hoping for that. I think the care and respect is there, so I have hope, but it is a little dodgy at this point. So I don't know. And I know a lot of people are talking about, continuity and contradictions. The only one I've really noticed, and this is just because I started a new Leia book, Leia, Princess of Alderaan. It's been really good. It's by Claudia Gray, the best writer in Star Wars right now. And in the book, she's like a teen adolescent, so 15, 16. And Bail and her mother basically say to her, like, oh, we don't want you to get captured by the Empire. We don't want you to get involved in this rebellion thing or anything like that. And in the show, it's already showed that Leia has been captured by the Empire before. Like, this isn't her first run-in. So I don't know if that's going to be a contradiction in the book. I mean, they don't specifically say you've already been captured, but it is kind of odd how they're talking in the book like it's never happened before, and the Empire, she's under the nose, like the Empire doesn't really know about her, when in reality they've captured her with Obi-Wan, the biggest criminal in the galaxy, to the Empire. Like, I don't know. I feel like that might be a contradiction that might come back around, but I haven't finished the book, so maybe that might change, but that's just something I wanted to bring up as well. Okay, so one other thing. Did Vader not know that Obi-Wan was in the base the whole time? Because he just shows up at the end. Like, I don't know if he caught a transport in because he heard there was a break-in at the Inquisitor base. I doubt it. It seems like he was at the base the whole time, and you're telling me he didn't sense Obi-Wan's presence? I mean, he knew Obi-Wan was on the Death Star the minute he stepped off the Falcon, and the Death Star is much bigger than the Inquisitor base. So I feel like after an emotional battle in the previous episode, Vader would be very much on edge about where Obi-Wan is, where his presence is at any moment in time. So, the minute Obi-Wan steps in that base, I would figure Darth Vader said, screw it. I'm not trusting these Inquisitors anymore. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going down there now to stop him. But he doesn't. He just shows up in the end pissed that they got away. I don't know. But yeah, those are most of my thoughts. If you are enjoying the show like to the fullest extent and you think it's like the best Star Wars show, more power to you. I can totally see it. I enjoy it too. I've enjoyed the ride. It's been a lot of fun. There's been some great moments in there, but I think the bar should be set higher. I don't want to say expectations are too lofty. I think it's very realistic to reach some of the expectations. I just very much want to see more Vader Anakin struggle. I feel like we've been kind of robbed of that so far. We've definitely got Obi-Wan's side for sure. I mean, it's his show, but I definitely want to see more of that Vader Anakin. We have to see Qui-Gon at some point. We have to know what happened to the Grand Inquisitor. We have to know Reva's backstory and why she is so important to Vader to the point that he's not killing her just because of plot armor. Like, I don't know. I'm very excited for the next 2 episodes out of necessity because I need to know these things. But yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts. I can't wait to hear from all of you. Reach out to me on Instagram at @star_wars_mark of balance. DM me, comment on the post when I do post this tomorrow. Just let me know your thoughts overall. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? What do you love about the show, and what parts of the show haven't really panned out for you? And yeah, we're just here to talk Star Wars. It's okay to be critical of Star Wars. You need to demand the best out of your Star Wars, or it'll just be average at best. We need to get the best out of it. So I'm excited for the future of Obi-Wan. We'll see the next 2 episodes. I hope they don't turn this into a season 2. It's supposed to be an event, a limited event. Don't overdo it just because you have the biggest streaming day in Disney Plus history. But yeah, regardless, hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. I will see you next time for the next episode. And yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Force be with you. Peace.